Hi guys, my name is Nova, this is Film Express. I really wanted to talk to you today about some films of the past few years that I found extremely underrated that many people have not seen or have never even heard about. I'll be covering 10 films today. That being said, the first film we're going to be talking about is the 2023 Quebecois movie Red Rooms. Red Rooms has to be one of the best Canadian films ever made. It's a masterful courtroom drama with a morally bleak, biting look at society's obsession with true crime and the fandom that idolizes and romanticizes murder and the murderer. It's one of the more interesting and tense and nail-biting films I've seen in the last few years. Personally, it's a film that left an incredibly strong mark on me in terms of the subject matter, in terms of the writing and the direction. I think it's a film that everyone needs to check out as soon as you can. Find it on whatever streaming service that is possible, because Red Rooms is a film that is going to haunt you and stay with you for a very, very long time. Next up, we're going to be diving into Ari Aster's Beau Is Afraid, which is a film that not many people seem to be talking about anymore. It's something that you can't prepare yourself for. He has a crazy, diabolical sense of humor, and it comes through in every scene. There's a lot of shock value. There's a lot of moments that make you question your own sanity, and it's just a trip through mental illness, the likes of which only somebody as fearless as Ari Aster is capable of, and Joaquin Phoenix completely dedicates himself to a fearless performance. There are moments in this film that will make your jaw drop, and it all culminates into a finale that is so disturbing that it will spark discussions with you and your friends for hours and hours and hours. Beau Is Afraid is a film everyone needs to see just because it's so unafraid to take risks, and that's why we need to celebrate a film like Beau Is Afraid. Next up, we have the 2022 Thai film Fast and Feel Love, which is a bit of a romantic comedy set in the world of competitive cup stacking, which is crazy. It's unlike anything you've ever seen or heard of before. Think of the energy of Everything Everywhere All at Once, but done through a very, very modest and more grounded story about a guy who's kind of unwilling to grow up and unwilling to take his responsibilities seriously because he's so invested in competitive cup stacking. It's all done with such a unique humor and such a unique creative and cinematic flair. It's almost undeniable how cinematic it is. Every single scene is jam-packed with cinematic references galore. You have references to Taken, to Fast and the Furious, to Parasite, just to name a few, and it just shows that the film is made with so much love and passion for cinema. It's one of those films that I think that most film lovers would really enjoy. Fast and Feel Love is available on Netflix, so stream it as soon as you can. I have a feeling that you will definitely enjoy it. If you're into hyper stylized, unique, romantic coming-of-age films set in a world that you've never seen before, then Fast and Feel Love is definitely the film for you. Next up, we're going all the way to Iran for a film called There Is No Evil, released in 2020. There Is No Evil is an incredibly brave film. I could compare the film to the likes of Dostoevsky. It's one of the more mature efforts of the past few years. It's an anthology film, and every single one of the stories is powerful. It's a film that poses incredibly difficult questions about the political climate of Iran, about the death penalty, about life and death in general. It concerns itself with moral, philosophical questions that you can only get from some of the best novels out there. Every single one of these stories is jam-packed with incredible insights into society and complex layers of good and evil. Obviously, with everything that's going on in Iran, with the way that they censor artists and imprison them, the director here, Mohammad Rasulov, has been imprisoned for making the film, and he does not deserve to be in jail for being such a daring artist, for tackling such daring subject matter. We need to empower more artists like this who are unafraid to touch on topics that challenge authority, that challenge our way of thinking. That is why There Is No Evil takes a very, very strong spot on my list of underrated films of the 2020s. Next up, we are coming back to Canada for a small little Canadian film called Falcon Lake that released in 2022. Directed by Charlotte Lebon, Falcon Lake is an incredible surprise of a film from a powerful storyteller who has earned her stripes in the industry. I've always been extremely critical of coming-of-age films in general, but what Falcon Lake brings here is a sense of sincerity and authenticity and honesty. There's a sense of nostalgia in this film that evokes a feeling very reminiscent of the films of Richard Linklater, and I think that we need more filmmakers who are able to make you feel things like this. Falcon Lake thrives on its authentic dialogue, on its authentic characters, and it thrives even more on the sensitivity and the delicate nature that it tackles subject matter and the way it trusts its actors to bring to life such a powerful powerful screenplay. In my opinion, Falcon Lake is one of those touching, rewarding, and sincere coming-of-age films that we don't really get anymore these days. I think everyone should watch it. Find it as soon as you can on any streaming service and give this movie life and give this movie love, because it really truly deserves it. For a small little Canadian film like this, it really hits home. Watch Falcon Lake. And I hope I'm not showing a bit of a bias here, but next up, I'm going back to Iran for the 2021 absolute masterpiece, Hit the Road. Hit the Road is a beautiful road trip film with an ocean of depth, beauty, paranoia, and honest sincerity. It's something that I could compare to Iran's Little Miss Sunshine. That is really as great and as beautiful as it sounds. The film is full of heart, masterfully balancing tones of drama and comedy, with scenes that pay clear homage to the works of Iranian master filmmakers Jafar Panahi and Abbas Kiarostami. It's very clear that Hit the Road, directed by Pana Panahi, Jafar Panahi's son, the whole film is a tribute to not only Iranian cinema, the Iranian filmmakers that have established the cinematic language, but also the land in itself and the people that inhabit it. That's why Hit the Road is one of the more beautiful films of the 2020s. In my opinion, an absolute masterpiece, an absolute must-watch film, one of the better hidden gems, and I believe that it is available for streaming on Amazon Prime. Watch Hit the Road as soon as possible. For our next film, we are going to be talking about the Pakistani trans film Joyland from 2022. Joyland is one of the absolute best films of 2022 and one of the strongest trans feature films I have ever seen. It tackles the subject matter with a profound sense of purpose and tenderness, and it adds weight to the story due to the cultural taboos that are obviously present in Pakistan, but they also are handled with delicate and beautiful sense of honesty and care. It takes a sensitive approach in finding love and finding our identity in a system that attempts to silence impulse. Joyland is a remarkable debut film. It's one of the more nuanced LGBT films and films related to sexual identity I believe I've ever seen. It is never too showy, it's never too familiar, and never too heavy-handed. Joyland is the work of a master filmmaker in the making. I really believe that everybody should see it because it is a film that comes from the heart. It is done with all the right intent for a film like this to shine, and that's why I really think Joyland is an absolute must-watch. It has won plenty of awards and it deserved every single one of them, so please watch Joyland. It is going to hit you extremely hard. It is one of those films that you will absolutely never forget. Next up, we are talking about one of my absolute personal favorite films, Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things from 2020. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a surrealistic mind trip of a movie. It's an earth-shattering and life-altering experience and a window into mental illness and isolation, the idealization and the fantasies that we create when we fall in love. It's also one of the more hauntingly devastating tales that relates to wanting to oneself that I've ever seen. Charlie Kaufman's directorial style in this could be potentially described as Lynchian with a little bit of Michel Gondry, but he's definitely creating his own cinematic language here and employing techniques that I believe I've never seen in a film before, and it might have one of the most unique and rewarding interpretive dance scenes I've ever seen in a film. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is one of the only films that I've ever watched that as soon as the credits rolled, I started the film right back and watched it again that same evening. I have since watched it multiple times, and every single time it leaves me speechless, and I learn new things just watching the incredible performances, the fantastically devastating writing, and the incredibly introspective window into the frailty of the human psyche. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is available on Netflix, and I urge you all to check it out as soon as possible. It is an absolute masterpiece, and not enough people have seen it. Next up, I'll be talking about Decision to Leave. It's the 2022 masterpiece directed by South Korean auteur Chan-wook Park, who is not only one of my favorite filmmakers, but one of the more unique and talented craftsmen in the art form of filmmaking. Decision to Leave is incredibly inventive and crafty. It's a Hitchcockian murder mystery, the likes of which we haven't gotten in 30-40 years. It's incredibly dense, it's incredibly poetic, it absolutely requires a second viewing. The film is drenched in style, every shot is masterful, and it employs some of the best editing and smash cuts I've seen in the past 15-20 years. There are visual motifs that end up paying large rewards by the end of the film, and Chan-wook Park, the master of twists and turns, always gives us devastating and shocking moments that will have your jaw dropped right to the floor. Decision to Leave is no different. This is the director of Oldboy we are talking about. The ending of Decision to Leave believe is one of the more powerful endings I have seen in the past few years. It is one that has left an incredible mark on me. When you watch a Chan-wook Park film, you know that you are about to see many things that you have never seen before, and Decision to Leave has a few scenes that will absolutely be ingrained in your mind for a very, very long time. So I urge you all to check out Decision to Leave as soon as possible. It is available on Mubi, and it is one of those films that you need to watch multiple times. Every single time you will learn something new, and that is why it is one of the most underrated films of the 2020s. And finally, we are going to Spain for the 2021 underrated masterpiece official competition, Competencia Oficial, directed by Gaston Duprat and Mariano Cohn. This is a film that did wonders at the film festivals, but kind of flew under the radar since it came out. It is a comedy unlike anything you've ever seen. It is definitely a comedy made for adults. In this film, we have Antonio Banderas giving one of his best performances in years, and Penelope Cruz, she absolutely steals every single scene she was in. There are so many moments in this film that are laugh out funny. It is almost impossible to define what the film is about. Just know that going into this film blind is the absolute best way to go into this film. The less you know about the film and the characters, the better. Let them win over you. Let the comedy win over you. This is one of the most meticulously written comedies I have seen in the past few years. In a decade where comedies seem to have almost been forgotten, most of the comedies that we are getting are very raunchy, mainstream comedies. So to get something like this that is mature, excellently written, with a very clear purpose to show a satirical window into the industry that we all know and love, I really do feel like Official Competition stands above the rest. It is one of the better hidden gems to come out of Spain of the past few years, and is one of the easiest films for me to recommend, not only for the great performances, but for the great writing and just for the hilarious amount of jokes per minute. So definitely watch Official Competition as soon as you can. And with that wraps up my list of the most underrated films of the 2020s. Please like and please subscribe, and also please hit that notification bell. It really helps a lot. And let's talk about some films that you really feel were underrated in the 2020s. Did I miss your favorite underrated 2020s film? Please let me know. With that being said, my name is Nova. This was Film Express. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.